Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis on November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving for those of us here in the United States. And I am going to do the closest thing that you'll ever see me do to an unboxing, I guess. And basically I got some of my seedlings back from Troy Myers over at the Troy Myers Conservancy. And they look pretty cool. I'll turn the camera around and have you take a look at how I'm going to repot these here in just a moment. But basically I pollinated, or I selfed, one of my Alba nobiliors, and here's a photo here. And then I also selfed my polyploid Cattleya nobilior, which you can see right here. And the nobilior that's the Cattleya is really cool. It's actually it stays in bloom. Those flowers stay good for 6 weeks before they start to fade and fall off. So not only are they easily twice as big as my other Cattleya in terms of flower size, but they just last so much longer. So I figured that was a cool one that was worth selfing. So what I'm gonna do now actually is show you the seedlings that are not quite in flask anymore. Troy is kind enough when he sends his seedlings over to pull them out of the flask and then put them in a plastic bag so that they're easier to deal with. I don't have to deal with the media or the agar. It's really a convenient, wonderful way to do it. So, and not only that, in addition to, showing you the seedlings that I've got, Troy has all of these seedlings for sale from his organization. I'll leave a link to his organization, to his company's website in the description, and you can access that there pretty easily, and you can buy these very same plants. In fact, someone told me online that they got the seedlings, these same seedlings, before I did, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so let's get the camera turned around and facing the table that's down here, and then I'll show you how I'm going to pot these up. So these are the materials that I'm working with. These are the actual seedlings themselves. This is the Orchiata bark that I am using. It is the teeny tiny size. It's the smallest size you can buy in terms of per chunk size for Orchiata. I don't need a giant bag, so at most orchid shows you can buy these sort of smaller bags of Orchiata. I also want to apologize since I am surrounded by homes that are being built, so any construction sounds that you can hear, it's just part of living here in brand new suburbia. So continuing, I'm gonna pot them in these pots here. I'm gonna use this Orchiata bark, which is still sitting in a bowl of water to soak, and then I'm gonna eventually put them in here. I will take the lid off and then just cover it with a plastic sheet to keep the humidity in for these guys. And then of course here are the pots. I can't find my plastic tags yet, so I just used some popsicle sticks to write the names on them for now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, one bag in here, one bag in this other one, and then 2 bags in this larger pot here. So first, let's open these up and take a look. So, here, let me show you the names of both of these. So as you can see, this is the Alba, and this is the Cattleya, the polyploid. And like I said, both of these are for sale and are available from Troy on his website. So I encourage you to buy some. So let's start out with the Alba here. So he shipped these actually on November 14th, and I got them a couple days later in the mail, of course, and then it's November 25th, so it's been a couple weeks basically for them to sit in these bags, but I just haven't had time to go through and open them up and see what they look like. So like I said, this is kind of a unique way to do it that some flask producers will do for you as a really handy service, so you don't get the the metal, the glass bottle in the mail that can be kind of a pain to deal with. And look at these. Just a big pile of roots. Really nice plants. Some are larger than others. And I am going to separate these and get them all wet, and I'll show you them here in a sec. So what I'm doing is I've just got a little dish here that I've got some pure water in, and as I separate these out, I'm going to drop them in here so that they can rehydrate the roots before I get them into their new home. So it's pretty common for you to get a pretty large range of plant sizes for these. So what I'm going to do is all the ones that are here I'm going to keep, and all these ones here I'm just going to toss. I don't really need a crazy amount of these things. I'm also going to do the same thing for the second bag so that they're all in the same little dish here. I'll be right back. So the next thing I'm going to do is untangle these a little more, and then I'm going to get them, I'm going to give them their new home with some media here and put it all together. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this, pull it out, kind of dry it off, and then add it to the bottom of this. And then I'll start adding in seedlings. So I want this particular media to be fairly shallow, so not a whole lot deeper than this. So what I'll do now is I'll scatter the plantlets themselves across the media, and then I will add more of this media on top, and then that's it. And then I'll show you, I'll put them in there eventually and to keep the humidity, but I'll talk more about that in a moment. So basically what I want to do is I want to somehow get all of these seedlings in here fairly evenly, and then I'll add the media, additional media on top of that. So these are actually quite a few more seedlings than I was expecting, but so I still have a bunch of these here. I will end up throwing them in this pot, but what I want to do now, like I said, is pull this media out from the soaking wet stuff, kind of give it a shake, and then slowly add it in to fill in the gaps. And so now you can see I have a dish of somewhat spread out a community pot of these guys. And so what I did is I slowly filled in the spaces with the media, and then of course as I'm going I want to make sure that these plants are just above the top of the media. I don't want any of these crowns being sort of stuck under the media where the potential for rot of course increases. And so there we go. We have the first nobilior alba, and that one's done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing for this pot here. Excuse me, I'm going to put these seedlings in here, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the polyploid cerulleas. All right, so I potted up the cerulleas here. That's these guys. Actually, let me get them a little closer. And these are, as you can imagine, these are all the largest of the seedlings. And as this media dries out, it's going to sort of shake down and not cover up the seedlings quite as much. And I want to point out all of the seedlings that I am not interested in keeping. Now, these are all healthy, viable seedlings. They're just small, and I don't have space or room for them, so they're going in the garbage. That's not a bad thing. I know there's a desire by some folks to save every single possible plant that they can, and that's great if you have the space and time, but unfortunately I don't. So this is the Cattleya group, and these are the albas, and so I will keep them covered. I think I can throw one more pot in here, and then I'll keep it covered with saran wrap for a couple weeks, and over time I'll slowly open it, maybe a little bit each day until a little bit more each day until finally there's no saran wrap on top and it's just kept in the open air like this. And at that point, I think I'll take this over to the greenhouse. But until then, they will be under lights. And here's a quick photo of what the whole setup looks like for these guys right now. But anyway, I hope you're having a great weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye.